Greetings, guitar enthusiasts and other assorted peoples. My name is Taylor, and today I'm going to take you through my guitar collection. Now, this is actually the second time that I've filmed this video, but the first time I was very nervous, not speaking very clearly, speaking too fast, speaking too Scottish, and yeah, just editing it was quite a labour-intensive process because of the amount of imperfections. You'll notice I say M and A. I can't help it. I'm from the west coast of Scotland. It's difficult to speak with a quote-unquote posh voice, but I'm going to try my best today. So we're gonna go through all these dozens of guitars that I've got here, starting with the acoustic instruments, guitars, banjos, mandolins, that sort of thing. Maybe go to basses after that, and then into the electric guitars, which makes up the bulk of the collection. Also, I do have a separate stash of guitars at my studio that are used for teaching purposes and ones that I like to fix up and things, so I'll maybe include them as a sort of separate chapter in there somewhere. But yeah, let's just get started. I'm just going to leave this rolling, hopefully cut down on the amount of editing I need to do today. First one, this is my Ibanez electroacoustic nylon string guitar. It's got one of these snappy titles like an AEG10NENT1202. Catchy. But I just refer to it as my Ibanez nylon string electroacoustic. I've used this for classical gigs, jazz gigs. I've used it for even just singer-songwriter strummy gigs. Very, very versatile instrument, capable of a lot of different genres and styles of music. Absolutely love it. I'm also going to try not to play anything just to cut down on the amount of time in each clip. So before I get tempted, on to the next one. This is my AE300 Ibanez electroacoustic guitar from 1983, Japan. I love the oval sound hole and the sort of soft cutaway. Love that. It's got a random Strat button on the back of the headstock for some reason. It's got a passive pickup, just volume and tone here, so don't have to worry about any batteries. It's a lovely mid-range bark this guitar has. I really, really liked it just for gigs where I'm just smashing out chords with a pick for 3 hours. This was absolutely perfect for that, so on to the next one. Next up we have my freshman Apollo 3 OC. I believe this is the OC, the DC is the dreadnought shaped one, but this has got a smaller, sort of more figure of 8 shaped body. Sorry, I'm not up on the terminology with some of these things. Someone can tell me in the comments if they like. Grover tuners. It has a Fishman Precis pickup system, so there's actually an internal condenser microphone in here. This was my main guitar for all sorts of open tuning stuff, percussive stuff. This guitar does it all, and I can really get the sound of everything on the body of the instrument through the blend in the pickup as well. So this guitar has done a lot of gigs with me as well. This is one of my favourite acoustics that I've ever played. On to the next one. Bit of a blast from the past, but here is my Eko Ranger XII. Everyone knows these things. The old bolt-on acoustic, built in the 60s or 70s in Italy, I believe. Really big old heavy thing. The neck on this has been warped and has had a fingerboard repair. Sorry, it's on the other side. It's had a fingerboard repair done at one point, so this is an old thing. It's also got a random odd tuner for the octave G. Bit of a homage to John Butler, if you know, you know. So yeah, I fitted this with some sort of Gretsch pickup, I believe it is. Just a little passive thing straight to the output jack. This guitar is currently enjoying its retirement in C standard with a nice light set of strings on it, just to not aggravate this old neck any further. So it's got maximum acoustic Jimi Hendrix vibes. This is my Bediaz. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation, but Bediaz. This is my Bediaz Lapsteel guitar. It's pretty much the Weissenborn style, where the neck is actually just a big hollow part of the body as well, so this is obviously for playing on your lap with a slide. Not something I'm gifted at or anything, but I've always loved that style of playing, so I do try. So I've used this for a lot of gigs, a lot of recording. I did used to have a dobro style instrument with a tricone resonator, but I prefer the sound of this. It's more versatile for me. I could use it in a lot more genres. Currently in some sort of open C sharp type tuning, but I'm not playing, because if I play I'll end up getting lost and add an hour onto this video. So yeah, electroacoustic. Yeah, okay. Going into no man's land here. This is my Countryman 5-string bluegrass banjo. This has been used and abused. You can clearly see that. This is it cleaned up, by the way. There was beer, there was blood, there was mud, there was all sorts of stuff on this before. This is just honest wear of playing festivals up and down the country and all sorts of different gigs and things. This was one of my main instruments for a very, very long time. It is beat up, but it still works. There's a bug pickup in here for it to be amplified. Sound men hate this thing. I don't blame them. And I do have a 5th string capo fitted to it just so I could play this in other keys rather than just G major all the time. Resonator back, loud, also known as the haunted banjo because of this sort of emoji-like face on the front. That was a heckle at a gig in Glasgow once. Why does your banjo look haunted? What a question. I don't know. I don't know. Second banjo, and most interestingly, the oldest instrument that I own. So this is a E.Perry Allen open back 5-string banjo. E.Perry Allen, New York. Whether that's the manufacturer or the store that sold it, I have no idea. My limited bit of research I was able to do on this particular banjo, the research seemed to show that this was made somewhere in the 1890s, so this is 130 years old and it still plays. It's got, you know, challenging action, but for an instrument of this age, I think we're going to allow that. It has been set up and restored a few times, but maybe it's temperamental because of the age it is, but it's still here and it's still making music. Thank you very much to Phil for selling me this years ago. So this is a genuine link to the past as far as I'm concerned. It was a family member of his had bought it at some sort of music fair in the States where they lived, and now it's here in Scotland with me. Love this thing. Even smells old. This is my electroacoustic Smoky Mountain Instrument Company mandolin, and again this was an instrument that got carted about for years and played in various pubs and clubs and caverns and fields and birthday parties and all sorts of stuff. Pretty much enjoying its retirement now, but I may break it out for a bit of recording at some point. Or if I ever end up playing in any sort of folky band again, I might play it. I did put a couple of off-white Strat knobs on it. I just thought that sort of gave it a little bit of something. I also made this strap on my own out of a belt. These are the crazy things you do when you're young, you know. So, yep. Smoky Mountain. I'm not even sure that's a real company, by the way. It's just one of these sort of placeholder names, but interesting. This is my Tonewood BZ3EQ, or affectionately known as Brian the Bouzouki. So this is my electroacoustic bouzouki. Got this on eBay a few years ago. Really, really love the bouzouki, the Irish folk version of the bouzouki. I like the Greek one as well, but I play this one. This is more like an octave mandolin, currently tuned GD-AD. So I can do lots of dad-gaddy style voicings in it. It's just a beautiful sounding instrument. I used to have it set up with octave strings, but I've now got unison strings. I think I find it a bit richer sounding. And the reason it's called Brian is because this bouzouki came with no logo up here on the headstock, and I always thought it looked a bit bare. So recently I stuck a 1947 6-pence piece to the headstock in honour of Sir Brian May of the band Queen, who plays guitar with a 6-pence piece, and according to Brian in an interview, he said the 1947 6-pence has the best composition. I'll take his word for it, but I ended up buying one and tried to play the guitar with it, didn't like it. stuck it to the top of the Bouzouki for a bit of decoration in the area where there would usually be a logo of some description. So yes, Brian. And as you can see, Brian has love heart shaped tuners, which I like as well. Brian. Next up we have my Kauai, not sure how to pronounce that, electroacoustic ukulele. This was very kindly given to me by my friend Dale, who told me that I needed the ukulele in my life. I wasn't sure how to take that statement at the time, but it turns out he was right. Great fun to play. You know, it's almost a challenging thing to play a ukulele. You've only got these 4 strings, they're quite high pitched, but how can you make interesting chord voicings? How can you fill out space with it? So it's a really, really fun instrument to play. Absolutely love this thing. Thank you again, Dale. This is my 1930s John Gray and Sons London ukulele banjo ukulele, banjolele, whatever it's called. This is my one. I did go through a strange obsessive phase where I used to watch and read about a lot of George Formby stuff. So I had to own one of these at one point. Now this thing is loud. Probably thanks to this metal resonator on the back. Again, I'm fascinated by the idea that this instrument is 100 years old and it's still here and it still plays really, really well. It's still making music. Absolutely fantastic. Hi everyone, welcome to a change of scenery. This is my studio where I teach and record and do some work from, and I keep a certain amount of guitars down here for teaching purposes, but also I have the occasional project and fixer-upper. You know, these little guitars that you accumulate through job lots and buying and selling and trading, sometimes they make their way here so my wife doesn't kill me. So we'll look through these. They are on the cheaper end of things, but there's still a few hidden gems in here, so let's have a look, shall we? I'm going to start with this Washburn D8 acoustic that was gifted to me by my friend Ian. Thank you, Ian. This guitar is just a really old, rock solid, beat up acoustic guitar. Some sort of Celtic knot type thing glued to it. Not sure why, but I think it's always interesting when a guitar has a little thing like that going on. So it's really beat up, but it plays really well. The fingerboard on it is very pale and dried out looking. I have hydrated it as many times as I can. It's just not for having a drink of anything, so it's going to stay pale by the looks of it, but you know, it plays. Can't ask for much more than that. Next up we have an Elevation acoustic that I got for a tenner. £10, just in case you don't know what a tenner is. The action is pretty high on it, and you know, some of the inlays are actually sticking out. I don't know how that works. Also the Made in China sticker is upside down. That's reassuring, but nonetheless it's an acoustic guitar. It costs a tenner and it plays. Can you ask for much more? Not really. I think I may have already used that line. This is an Ashton 12-string electroacoustic that was given to me by my friend Norman. Thanks, Norman. Norman donated a couple of guitars. Get to the other one later. And this was one of them. I used to own one of these, sold it years ago, and have now ended up with another one. And it's a cracking wee thing. Balanced output, fancy little pickup, EQ options and everything. Yeah, awesome small-bodied electroacoustic 12-string. Covered in fingerprints, as you can see. This is a George Washburn C10N gifted to me by my friend Amy. Thank you, Amy. This classical style guitar has the biggest neck known to man. So I like to come and play this one at work sometimes, because if you can play something on this neck, you can probably play it on anything. This neck is a beast. The biggest, fattest D neck of all time. But it's a beautiful guitar, and I like to come in here and practice my classical stuff and finger picking on it. So thanks again, Amy, for this guitar. Cheers. A couple of basses now. So the main one that I use here in the studio just for teaching on is this cheap and cheerful Rockburn P-Bass. It does the job. The strings on it were completely dead, so I took them off and gave them a bit of a clean. Sorry. And used a couple of different methods to get them sounding a bit brighter again. So it does the P-Bass thing. It totally works. Probably going to need to replace these crackly pots at some point, and the paint is flaking off around here. But next up I have a Gear for Music sort of BC Rich Warlock copy looking thing. It's very light. I don't really have much use for this. It currently sits as a bit of an ornament, but you know, maybe someone could benefit from owning this one day if they have aspirations of playing bass in a heavy metal band of some description. This is an Encore Blaster from the 1980s. The one with the skinny neck thing down here and the three-way switch and the... I'm not sure if these are brass saddles, but one of the other ones has brass saddles. These are really, really strange, distinctive guitars. I have it on authority to believe they were built in the same factory as the Sun Mustang, or they were the same thing. But this was given to me by Norman, same Norman that gave me the 12-string. This guitar belonged to Norman's brother and was played and played and played. This must have been the guy's main guitar. Look at the wear on those frets. So it must be good if it's been played that much. I'll include a picture over here. Here. There we go. This is Robert playing this guitar. It required quite a clean-up job. I think it had been sitting abandoned for a while after Robert had passed. So I had to spray quite a lot of contact cleaner on the thing and clean it up. But it's great. I actually have my students playing this guitar a lot. So hopefully, Robert, wherever you are, you're aware that this guitar is still making music, mate. Next up, another black Encore Coaster. Although this one appears to have brass saddles on it. There's some, and it's slightly. I think this one feels a little bit skinnier. Definitely get more wear in the frets anyway. But this one also has the three-way switch. So if any of you guys like your sort of vintage spec Strat type thing and don't like the in-betweeny positions, then something like this can be fun. These guitars have very quacky, tinny pickups, but they sound great through the right amp. They have their place. The tuners leave a lot to be desired, but they work. They keep the guitar in tune. This I got for £20 from Cash Generator, so this is my second Encore Coaster. Nearly said Blaster there, that's a different guitar. 2 Encore Black Strats. Time for a red Encore Strat. So this is definitely a later one. This isn't a Blaster. It doesn't have the skinny neck thing. It doesn't have the three-way. It doesn't have the brass. This to me looks more like a sort of late 90s or early 2000s guitar. But it's definitely not the Encores that you used to get from the Argos catalogue, because they were really light and cheap feeling. This is a sturdy beast. This to me feels like a sort of 2000 Squier of some description. So this has got no strings on it at the moment, but I'm in the process of fixing it up, cleaning it up. It's just pure Hank Marvin. This was given to me by my friend David. Thank you, David, for bringing this guitar down. I seem to just take in these stray guitars all the time, but this will be strung up and making sweet, sweet music again very soon. Definitely going to record a couple of clips of me playing some old school Shadow stuff on this. Got to be done with a red Strat. Sure you've all had enough of Strats now, so let's go for a Les Paul. It's a 1959, no, just kidding. This is a Rockburn, same as the bass. This was given to me by my friend Chris, so thank you, Chris, for this. This guitar was sitting in a bit of a state in the rehearsal room that we used to use. So I eventually asked if I could take it home to fix it up, just because the state of it was bothering me. And now it's all singing, all dancing, sorted out a few frets on it. It's a Les Paul. It does the Les Paul thing. You could probably get one of these for about 50 quid online if you wanted. I couldn't find a switch tip that fits, so there's actually, bizarrely enough, a Strat one kind of mashed onto there for now. It works. It'll do. Continuing with the Les Paul theme. This is maybe my favourite guitar in the studio right now to play. This is a vintage V100WR. I'm guessing wine red. This guitar belonged to my friend Jamie, so thanks Jamie. I say that as if he's passed away, he hasn't. But Jamie and I used to play in a band together, and this was one of Jamie's main guitars in the band at the time. And I sort of never thought much of it when he was playing it, because I had a shot of it once and it wasn't set up to my liking, and I just thought, oh, heavy, clunky thing. And then recently Jamie got in touch and asked if I wanted the guitar, and I went, oh, that'd be amazing. Not just because it's a guitar that I can fix up, but also there's a bit of sentimental value there because of our years in the band together. So I got it home. My son, my 4-year-old son, actually helped me clean this one up, so there was a bit of a father-son bonding moment through that as well. And Now it gets played pretty much every day in here. These mini humbuckers sound absolutely incredible. I would actually put this up against another Les Paul Deluxe that you'll see elsewhere in the video. So there's maybe a shootout in the near future going to be filmed. So yeah, bit of sun damage at the top there, but that's okay. Beautiful guitar, thanks Jamie. Okay, I believe we're on to the last of the studio electrics, and I saved this one till the end because it is also special. This is a Deacon, I'm guessing the same thing as Jim Deacon, Tele, with Wilkinson pickups, 3 saddle bridge, all that kind of stuff. All the usual simple Tele appointments, bit of a chunky neck. It's green, it's got a sort of minty pick guard, it's beautiful. This guitar I bought off my friend Mark, thank you Mark, for the princely sum of £50. This is a hell of a lot of guitar for £50. This was actually, Mark's son and I played in a band together, and this was his childhood guitar growing up that he learned a lot of stuff on. So once again, I get these things in, I'm aware of the history of the instrument, I try and respect that, and I try and make the instrument still be played every other day or something. So lots of students come in here. A lot of them gravitate towards this guitar because it's, you know, the rest of them are sort of dull looking, and this is a nice bright green one. Unless they're Rangers fans, then they tend to not to be too bothered with this one. But this is an amazing guitar, an amazing sounding instrument. It gets played a lot in here. I know I've said that, but it really does get played a lot in here. Here's a picture of this guitar being used in some sort of live scenario. Thanks again, Mark. Thanks again, Rory. Thank you. Okay, I lied. There was one more. I sort of forgot about one more because it was just hanging on the wall over there. This is I didn't know that Vintage made ukuleles, but I saw this in a charity shop for £5 and thought, why the hell not? This is my Vintage VUK 15N. I think. It's typed on sort of squint. It's a ukulele. It does ukulele stuff. Let's go back to the house. Okay, had to really dig up the back for this one. We're on to basses now, just in case, you know, the bass didn't make that obvious. Here is my 1997, I think, Squier Affinity P-Bass modded. This one was donated by my friend SJ, thanks very much for this, mate. This one ended up getting some aftermarket parts chucked onto it. So what do we have here? We've got, I really love the white on white with the black pickup, I love that look. And it's, you know, this has had a life, this has been played. The upgrades it got were a badass 2 bridge, it got the Seymour Duncan £1/4 pickups with the big chunky pole pieces, and most of all for fun, it got the Hipshot D-tuner. The eagle-eyed among you may have noticed that I might have bought the wrong size here, but that's okay, it still works, it's quirky. Okay, next up we have my Westone Thunder 1A bass. This is a 1984, because it has a 4 at the beginning of the serial number, and it's got the newer, I say newer, 1984, but you know, it's not the earliest logo. This is just beautiful, just what a piece of craftsmanship. Absolutely love these. I know some people, these are quite Marmite instruments, some people don't like the look of them, but I absolutely love these things. Love the brass. Sadly not still got the brass knobs, but we'll just keep the ones that are on there. And it's got the, is it a series parallel switch and an active EQ this has got. It's been a while since I've played it. I'm not actually a bass player, I just happen to own a few of them as an enthusiast, but I do occasionally play bass and recordings and the occasional gig. The Westone branded tuners and everything. Yeah, love this thing. You'll be seeing another one quite like this coming up soon. A couple actually, you know, I've got a fondness for the Japanese stuff from the 80s. Next up, of the same time and place and era, this is my Vox 3002 custom bass. This one's a bit more rare than the Thunder, and a bit more divisive looking, I think. You know, some people might think this is really nice, some people might not like the shape. I think it's an absolutely stunning piece of work. Neck through. It's got the PJ configuration. It's got some really interesting switching stuff on it. It has a sort of series parallel mode for each one, but there's also a mode where you can have it where for the bottom two strings it's this pickup, but for the top two strings it's this pickup, so it's this part and this part at the same time. Really, really strange. I see what they were going for, bass, treble side, but it's capable of a great many things. Really, the headstock on this one is the you know, that's the big drawback. It is, let's just say what it is, it's quite an ugly looking headstock, but again, an amazingly well crafted instrument. The amount of money I paid for this would sicken you, in terms of it was a very small amount of money. Maybe the jammiest deal of the century, actually. In fact, no, that's coming up soon. This is my 2016 Fender Mexico Deluxe active PJ bass in green perloid. Just absolutely stunning. Absolutely fantastic. I was sold this by someone who just wanted to do a good thing for someone, so he really, really undercharged for it, and I tried to give him more money and he said no. He sold me this bass and 2 amps for about an eighth of what this is worth alone. I'm not even, if you can work out the maths in your head from that, a gentleman never tells, but yeah, I got this incredibly cheap. I ended up giving the amps away to a couple of friends of mine just to try and pass the goodwill on, because I was so touched by the generosity of the gentleman that sold me this. So thank you once again, David, for this. I really, really appreciate it. The day that I got this, I was actually feeling pretty low about some things, and to get this, I know it's, you know, new guitar day cheers everyone up, of course, but to get this home, set up and sit and play it for about an hour solid, just playing all sorts of stuff, disco, playing Black Sabbath, bit of slap stuff, it was exactly what I needed at that time. So I will always think fondly back to that day that I got this. It was a good day. It was a good new guitar day. Also, it's got the active, it's active and passive. I like that. You can play it in passive mode but then pop it into active if you want to preset the EQ to do something. And it's got the noiseless pickups, the P and the J, so it can do a great many tones. Lovely skinny jazz bass neck though. Just getting quite interesting now. This is my MTD Artist 5-string de-fretted fretless bass, as in this was originally a fretted bass that it was professionally de-fretted originally with an unmarked, like a all black neck on it. I am not a fretless player, so I got my local luthier to put the lines back in. Yeah, it's amazing. It's got the sort of Stingray type sound because of the big pickup and where it's placed. There's also a slap switch in here, so there's a couple of little pots, little dials inside the cavity here that I can preset to a particular sound, so that when I pop that out, it gives me another variation on the tone from this one pickup. I've used this for recording. I don't think I have the courage to even attempt to play this live. Really not a confident fretless player, but it's lovely to have it here when I need it, so MTD, awesome. Last bass, and what an absolute beast to end on. This is my LTD RB-1006 6-string PJ bass. It is not only a monster in terms of its size and scale, but it is just stunning looking. I believe this is the burrowed maple, or is it spelled? Yes, RB. So it's the burrowed maple finish. Just gorgeous, in the sort of abalone style side dots and the inlays, and I don't even feel worthy of this thing. Again, not a bass player, but to have a tool like this in the tool shed in case I need to record or do a crazy gig or something with it, great fun. So it is active. It is active. I knew it was active. I had to be. Look at it. Of course it's active. Thank you to my friend Rory for selling me this instrument. I really appreciate it, mate. Thank you so much. I'm really trying to keep this one in damn near perfect condition if I can. enough of the basses anyway, let's go on to the electric guitars now. Let's start with a crazy wee Stratty part caster type thing. So this is my, originally a Squier body, but has a Yngwie Malmsteen style AliExpress fake fender neck on it. And the only reason I bought it is because A, it was very cheap, and B, it's got a hell of a scallop on it. So wanted to try the scallop neck thing. The original neck on this guitar was really, really busted and wouldn't turn. The truss rod wouldn't turn. So I replaced it, and yeah, I love it. I love it. I can totally see why people like scallop frets. It's great fun. Really develops your touch differently as well. This one's also been modded. There's a Billy Gibbons Red Devil pickup, Seymour Duncan Red Devil in the bridge, and then two Wilkinson single coils here. It was originally just a Wilkinson loaded pickguard. I've also added in a couple of little switches for a coil split for this, and also a Gilmore switch so as I can have the outer coils together. So really versatile guitar. Deliberately wanted this one to look really beat up, so it's had a bit of a kicking and a bit of a, you know, a bit of a fun relic. I know it's not an amazing job, I'm not bothered. It was already pretty beat up when I got it, and I actually bought pre-rusted hardware. So there you go, my relic part caster. Here we have my G&L ASAT Special 2021 in surf green, I believe. This is one of the guitars I've tried to keep in as nice condition as I can. You'll notice there's the occasional shiny one. This one is damn near spotless, although it did actually arrive with some of the paint smashed off it because the seller hadn't packaged it properly, so it got bashed in transit. But I've had it refinished, and you can see a slightly darker patch here, but it's a phenomenal job. So really, really happy with that. Not that this guitar's going anywhere, it's just fantastic. The MFD pickups, magnetic field design pickups, you can look into the science behind it on the G&L website. It's really interesting. They have a particular chiminess to them, so they sound beautiful, clean, but also really crisp with a little bit gain on it. So I absolutely adore this thing. It's pretty much stock. I think the only thing I added was a Tusk string tree because I had one spare. This isn't even a Tusk nut. Might need to update that at some point, but awesome guitar. I like the big chunky bridge as well. So it's you know, you see a lot of Telecasters in today's collection, but this is a sort of a Tele but different, similar but different. Next up we have another looker. This is my Antoria 1975 or thereabouts Les Paul custom. Now the Ibanez 2660 or 2660, whatever you call it, is the closest model to this. In fact, I think it's identical really. So that's what we're dealing with here. This pickup is not the original Maxon. This is from a Greco. When I bought this guitar, it had a sort of 80s Ibanez Blazer pickup. It just didn't look or sound period correct to me, so I wanted to replace it with something from the 70s rather than the 80s era Ibanez stuff. It's got a very, very skinny neck for a Les Paul, and it has a bolt on, but anyone who knows these old Japanese copies, I won't use the L word just in case I'm using it in the wrong context. But yeah, these things are fantastic. Maybe I'll update the tuners at some point because you can't really adjust those in any way. They don't have any screws or anything in them, so yeah, it might be due a bit of future love. But this guitar is currently enjoying its life in E flat. Some of my students at work had been asking me to transcribe and teach them some Guns N' Roses type stuff, so this is the guitar that ended up getting all that sort of practice on it. And yeah, I think it prefers being in E flat really. So Antoria Custom, beautiful. Just look at that fingerboard one more time. Lovely. This is my Yamaha Revstar 502T, and I love it. Quite frankly, I adore this guitar. I play it so much. It has got the Probably the chunkiest neck out of any guitar that I play often. It's a bit of a handful. It's not uncomfortable, but it's just a bit more than what I'm used to. But it feels right on this guitar. This is a really robust feeling instrument. It has a couple of amazing sounding P90s. I love the black and cream combination, just like that Antoria before. Actually, you might notice a couple of black and cream guitars in here. And it also has the dry switch, which cuts a little bit of bass and emphasises some high mids, gives it more of a single coily type sound. I like the brushed aluminium hardware. That's amazing. That's all just callbacks to the Yamaha motorbikes of the 1960s, I believe. But yeah, just really versatile. It can do heavy, it can do beautiful cleans. Just can't say enough good things about this. The only thing I was slightly annoyed about is the fact that I got one just before they introduced the stainless steel frets as stock. So I would have preferred one with stainless steel frets, but I don't put so many hours on this guitar that I don't think it's going to need refretting anytime soon anyway. So yeah, Yamaha Revstar, amazing. Continuing with the Les Paul theme, this is my 1996 or 1997. It's a made in Korea Epiphone Les Paul with the translucent blue burst, I think it's called. This is a heavily modded guitar. This one I found in a charity shop or thrift store if you're from the other side of the Atlantic for £75, haggled down to 75. It was in dire straits, and I don't even mean that as a guitar joke. That's why I hesitated to say it there. Didn't want it to sound deliberate. I'll try and find a picture of this in its original state because it was really beat up. It was covered in stickers. It was a mess. It took a big clean-up job and it took a lot of upgrades. Even the bridge needed replaced in it because it had collapsed in the middle, so the middle strings were just buzzing everywhere because of how close they were to the fingerboard. I've added an aluminium pickguard. Thanks my friend Simon for that. He gave me that. Some sort of go-top bridge on here, I believe. These are Warman Zebra humbuckers. These are absolutely amazing. I put some small button tuners on it. I think these were from I'm not sure where they're from actually, but they are branded. What are they? Sondelou. Okay, so I think they're... Oh, wait a minute. Clussen Deluxe, but they're... Okay, never mind. I can't read apparently. I put these silver knobs on. This has also got Jimmy Page wiring in it. This was a big wiring mod job, so this can do all your coil splits, out of phase, series parallel, any combination thereof. It's too many options really, but it's nice to have the odd extra one, especially the out of phase if you like your Peter Green style playing. It's still beat up and what have you, and it's got a very wide D-shaped neck, which isn't to my preference, but it's just a bit of variation. We've got lots of different guitars with lots of different necks, so this can be the one with the chunky D neck. So my 90s modded Epiphone. This utterly unique beast started life as a... Sorry, a bag fell over there, did you hear that? It started life as a freshman Telecaster. Freshmen are a guitar company mainly known for acoustic guitars like the Apollo that I showed you earlier on. So to see one of these come up in a job lot of stuff available locally was quite surprising. So I was fascinated by it, and when I saw the wood, it's just stunning. But unfortunately a lot of the hardware had disintegrated on it. The pickups had become incredibly microphonic and had just felt pieces of the frets were just a mess really. It had been very much played and used for years and years by the previous owner, which is always a sign that it's a great guitar if someone's not been able to put it down for years. So this one got a real overhaul. It got a new set of tuners. Now the tuners on this are what are they called? Guyker, Guyker. They were under £25 on Amazon. These locking tuners with the white buttons on it. I absolutely love them, and they work as good as any tuners that I've ever got in my life. One of the guitars later on, it has a very expensive set of Gotos on it, and these kind of do the same thing, so I was very impressed by that. It's got a Lawler pickup in the bridge. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, I esquired it. I always liked the idea of having a single pickup Squier. So out the neck pickup came out, and then I wired the Eldred mod version of the Squier wiring. So it has the smaller capacitor in the front position for the sort of wah-wah halfway sound, rather than the dead tone of the original Squier. And the pickguard, I nearly got to the pickguard. The pickguard on this is hand painted by Jennifer Armstrong, a.k.a. J-Pax, who is an artist based out of Scotland who paints guitars and pickguards and all that sort of thing. So this is a one of a kind, really. Absolutely stunning. And it just really completes this guitar. It really makes it unique. I also put an old school brass compensated saddle Tele bridge on it and things. So it's a twangy beast, this, especially in that that position there where it bypasses the tone control. Such a bright sounding guitar. It's amazing. Another Les Paul. This is a 1998 made in Korea Epiphone Les Paul Deluxe. Quite rare, again with the black and cream. You can tell I'm fond of that colour scheme. Not sure if I'm fond of the sort of phlegm coloured tuning pegs from back in the day, but hey ho, each to their own. This was my first guitar that I ever had with mini humbuckers on it, and I really like them. They're just so clear sounding. A lot of Epiphones from this era have found that they can be a bit on the muddy side, but this one totally doesn't have that problem. Fantastic guitar. This was my cousin's husband Dave that gave me this years ago, so thanks again, Dave. I have looked after this. It's got its own fitted case and everything now. Here is my 2022 Fender Player Series Telecaster. This was bought for me by my wife as a wedding present. I didn't know that you got each other wedding presents, but she wanted a wedding present. I got this guitar, she got an Apple Watch. Pretty good deal. This thing is absolutely spotless. It is as if the previous owner had bought it and then immediately sold it because I got it for £300 in cash generator. Awesome. It is fantastic. I've currently got it strung up with a 9-46 string gauge, which is my preference for 25.5-inch scale guitars. All the Strats and Teles you're seeing today will have that. Just nice basic bare bones Telecaster. I have thought about replacing the bridge with a 3-saddle and putting some vintage split post tuners on it, but I'm very much of the opinion that if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and this guitar just is great. It requires a little bit of fretwork. The very top of the 22nd fret was high, so I had to get that down. I've got the branded strap and branded strap locks on here. The only thing I've changed really is the tip, which falls off these things no matter how much money you pay for the damn things. I replaced it with one of these little knurled ones just to match the pots. Quite like that. In fact, I think I've got that in a few of my Teles. But yeah, this is my Player Series. This is another sort of spotless one that I play exclusively in the house and maybe in the occasional theatre gig. Love it. Love the way it sounds. Love the way it plays. Thank you, dear. Really going through these in a bit of a random order now, but I suppose that keeps it interesting. This is my 1980, this is on the neck plate, this one. 1982 Westone Thunder 1A guitar with the older logo on it. I really wanted one of these for the longest time, and to get one in this good condition with the original brass knobs on there, all in working order. Brilliant. This guitar, I bought this from a guy who was selling this for his best friend's widow. So the guitar belonged to his friend, a guy by the name of Tony. I'm going to include a picture of Tony playing the guitar here because I've been assured this was Tony's pride and joy, this instrument. So to arrange the sale and the delivery of this instrument, and then for me to get it and just clearly see how it's been looked after but played a lot. The frets are flat on it. If this was a main gigging guitar, it probably wouldn't have a lot of... It'd need a refret sooner or later, but it actually plays without any buzzies, even though the frets are absolutely on the deck. I don't know how well you can see that there, but it's just again, Japanese stuff with a sandwich body construction. Absolutely love it. So beautiful. And it's got the phase coil splits and an active boost circuit in there as well. So just an honour to own this, really, and an honour to have this guitar still continuing its musical journey with me. The edges of the fingerboard are so rolled at the end there. Can you see that? It's almost like a scallop. Crazy. So this is for Tony. This monstrous beast is my Ibanez RGMS8. RGMS8. RG multiscale 8-string. Multiscale because it has the old fan fret thing going on. This was my introduction to that sort of thing. I did previously own a 7-string Schecter Avenger guitar that I had since I was 16, so I was no stranger to an extended range instrument. But you know, I think when I heard Animals as leaders and Meshuggah and some of these bands using 8 strings, I'm like, oh, I need that little bit of extra depth. I think 9 strings might be too far, but 8's nice. You can do the, you can do the drop E thing, so you can have a lower octave on your regular 6 strings. Good for all the slappy stuff. It's got the really fun Ibanez 5-way switch in there, so you can get it, full humbucker here, or the 2 coils on the outside, or you can get this pickup in parallel. Just great. A great range of tones out of this, and I adjusted to playing it quite well. The only thing that occasionally pickles my brain is when I need to play a chord and sort of bend back the way like this, but it's surprisingly came naturally to me, so really love this. Again, it's not the type of gig that I do often, but it's good to know that if I need something to, play a note solo that people crap their pants, then I can break this out and do a gig on it. Awesome. This is my 1979 Aria Pro 2 ES500 WA. WA standing for walnut, because of this quite stunning finish on this guitar. This was another one that I got incredibly cheap from a local cash generator store. Again, I won't use the L word from the 70s, but this is a incredibly good Gibson 335 copy. Unbelievable, really. I've owned a few 335 and hollow body style guitars and never got on with them that well. This one, this was destined to be mine, this one. I love it. I play this one in the house maybe more than the rest of the guitars. It's definitely in the top, I'd say it's in the top 3 in terms of one that gets played in the house. I love the way it sounds, I love the way it feels, I love the way it plays. And it's another oldie. This thing is a decade older than I am. It has a Veritone switch in there, so I've got different capacitors, so I can filter it to make it sound a different way. Oddly enough, the repair that was done to this, I think the capacitors were of a different value were put in. So I believe the original wiring, when you go up the positions, it gets thinner sounding. This one actually gets darker sounding and more jazzy, which is more useful for me, to be honest. So it's got a 2-bolt neck. Look at that. In fact, let's just look at the back of that as well, because oh mammy, amazing guitar. This is my one-of-a-kind Silly Gillicaster, named in honour of my wife Gillian, who got me this guitar for my 30th birthday oh so long ago. Originally would have been an Affinity Tele of some description, crafted in Indonesia, Indonesian Cortec factory, 12 something. Anyway, the guitar, the stock guitar was great, but during lockdown, I think we all lost our minds a little bit, and I got into modding and fitting things together, so this guitar got a bit of an overhaul. It got a little 59 Seymour Duncan and a Seymour Duncan vintage stack in the neck here. Got a coil split for this. It's got obviously the engraved pickguard and bridge and control plate set. It's got these abalone knobs on it. It's got, this is the one with the expensive Gotoh tuners I was telling you about earlier on. These cost about £100, and to be honest, they do the exact same job the cheap ones off Amazon do, but they're really nice looking. I don't regret buying them. They're staggered as well, which is nice. This has also got a tusk, nut and string trees. It's quite a light guitar, much lighter than the other ones that I've got. I've got an engraving on the back of the neck plate as well, but that's a personal message from my wife, so I won't show that on camera. Yeah, the Silly Gillicaster. Not one that gets taken out and gigged or anything, but one of my prized possessions for sure. Very kind wife, constantly buying me Telecasters all the time. But I think she's never going to buy me another Telecaster, probably. Talk about a modded guitar. This is my Epiphone Emily the Strange SG. I believe the model number was a G310 or something like that. So these were available in the early 2000s. I remember seeing them in guitar shops everywhere, but I don't think the stock pickups and hardware was really up to much. I got one in really good condition on Reverb a few years ago and then set about souping it up. So it's got a roller bridge, it's got the Duesenberg Les trim, it's got the Seymour Duncan P-rail pickups with the what they call triple shot rings. So there's little switches here. So when I change these switches, I can put the pickup in single coil mode or P90 mode or parallel or series humbucker. So between the two different pickups and the three-way switch, you can get a lot of different noises out of this. Again, probably too many options really, but it's nice to have those options. It's also got some what are these again? Oh, these are Gotohs as well. So these are Gotoh locking tuners with a tulip buttons on them, and also a string butler for this one, bizarrely enough. I mean, these are just really, really beautiful looking instruments. Emily the Strange, I'm not entirely sure exactly what Emily the Strange is, but I believe it's some sort of clothing brand or comic book or something like that. Sort of teenage goth stuff, but I just love the way the guitar looks. People are strange. They certainly are, Emily, they certainly are. This guitar here is affectionately known as the wife because of the amount of gigs I've done on it. This was my main guitar in all the years I played in the wedding band, and it is a James Tyler Variax GTV 6.9 with a Fender Strat neck on it, because the original neck of this guitar was not to my liking, but the functionality and everything that this guitar does was. So between this and the Helix LT that I was using for gigging, this guitar would be able to do all sorts of alternate tunings, digitally transposing the strings and what have you. And then all the different models. It's got the hip shot staggered locking tuners on it. It's got the Tuscanut and string trees. It's been set up really well. Trem works great. It's not screwed in right now. So I would have patches saved on the floor, acoustic 12 string, open D sitar. So to have that sort of Swiss Army guitar in your arsenal is fantastic. We do like this thing, it's wonderful. As with anything, varieties of the spice of life. So after playing this guitar too much, I ended up wanting to swap it out and bring some other stuff. But again, this was the main man for the longest time. So here is my Ibanez RG565 Genesis series. Fairly recent 2021 Japanese Ibanez utter shred machine. This is amazing, this guitar. It's one of the more recent acquisitions, and just looking at my collection, I thought the one thing I don't have is just a pure shred machine, just, you know, something just that I can dedicate towards playing fast again. I had listened to a lot of shred stuff growing up and then moved on to other musical styles and, you know, played professionally and didn't really need to do that sort of thing a lot. But now that I've got a bit of time to invest back into my playing, I really wanted to go back into a lot of that stuff, a lot of that Paul Gilbert stuff, Dream Theater, all these kind of bands that I listen to. So I got this for a bargain, really. I paid nearly half of what this is worth, and it is in brand new condition. It's got I think it's got one tiny ding in it there, which when I noticed it broke my heart, by the way. But I do intend to play this a lot, so it probably will get dinged up. But it's got the really cool reverse headstock, super skinny neck. I'm not sure if that's a wizard neck. It's got the really beautiful neck carve there as well, so the high fret access on this guitar is just unparalleled. And this tremolo is witchcraft. I just want you to, I said I wasn't going to play any guitars, but I do need to show you this. So, perfect G chord. How? Here we have my 2009 Fender Telecaster Deluxe 72 reissue, and this is a guitar that I never saw myself liking at all, but I had a Les Paul Jr. that was up for trade last year. I traded the Junior because of the next guitar you're about to see. It got sort of supplanted in the collection, if you like. You'll notice I've got a lot of guitars, but they're very rarely do you get two that are the same. They all have their own personality and their own job. And the Junior got pipped to the post by the next and final guitar in the collection that you're about to see. So when this came up for trade, I didn't really think I would be into it, but I really, really am. The wide range humbuckers sound amazing. It's got it's such a clang when you play it. Like for recording rhythm guitar, this is the best guitar that I own for that sort of thing. So I use this in the studio quite a lot. I love the big 70s headstock. I love the bullet truss rod. I love the 3-bolt neck. Really, really beautiful 70s style tuners. This thing is just amazing. It's so amazing that I don't even mind that it's a black on black guitar with a 21 fret neck. That's usually stuff that I'm not particularly into, but again, it's wonderful. I really, really love this thing. On to the final one. So that's us at the final guitar here. I've saved the most special one till last, definitely. Thank you very much for sitting through all this. You're obviously similarly afflicted as myself with these types of things. If you can sit through however long this video ends up being, watching someone ramble about guitars. I've tried to keep it succinct and tried to speak clearly. I hope it's okay. I will definitely work on the production and the editing and the confidence talking to camera in future. So if anyone wants to hear anything specific from me or about any of these guitars that have been featured today, just leave me a comment and I will do my best to get back to you and put those things into action. So here we are, the apex of the collection. This is my 1968 SG Jr. and it is an honour to own this thing. It is just something else. I wanted to invest in a vintage instrument for many reasons. Obviously, you know, it should keep its value or even appreciate value, but also to play it, to see if the buzz around vintage instruments is true. And all I'll say to that is, this thing feels alive when you play it. It is so resonant. It's so characterful. Is characterful a word? I don't know, but it is now. So yeah, just amazing. It's got the vibrola, which I really, really like. It holds tune absolutely fine, so I don't see any cause to take it off. Although I do usually prefer the appearance of a guitar that has, you know, a wraparound bridge and then lots of body on show down here. It's obviously seen a life. It's had a refin at some point, but it appears to be almost all original. There is one wire inside the cavity that's definitely more modern, but the pickup itself, I've checked it out, it seems to be the original pickup just with a new wire on it. And if it's not, I don't think I really care or want to know because it sounds incredible. It's just, even that headstock alone, it's just beautiful to behold. Even when I take this guitar out to play it, which I do often, I play this guitar quite a lot, it's in its original case. I will open the case and then just stare at it for a couple of seconds, inhale the smell of old guitar, multi-sensory experience, and then sit down, plug it in, usually to the Blackstar tube amp, and play it, and it's a good time. That's all I can say. So thank you very much for sitting through this. There will be a couple of on-roll mentions somewhere for other guitars, and yeah, see you on the next one. Apologies, I forgot about one guitar. This one was away getting repaired. This is my custom Strat Tele hybrid from Elderwood Guitars based out of Carlisle. So thank you, Barry, for this. This is amazing. I spec'd this and spoke to the luthier about what I wanted from the parts and what have you. Put a few more parts in. I also asked for it to be sent in bits so as I could build it myself. That was a decision I came to regret because I made an arse of it. so I had to pay my local luthier to fix it for me. Thanks Tiger's Guitar Repairs for that. But now it's all singing, all dancing. Hot rail in the bridge there. Southern bell neck tele pickup there. I can put them out of phase, I can put them in series. It's an amazing guitar. Really cracking relic on it. Lovely and light, shell pink. What's not to love? Awesome.